wow, what do you know? It's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. About 2 weeks ago, I competed, I'm using the term loosely, in my first ever bike race, a 100-kilometer gravel-covered affair. I did not train at all before this contest. The longest ride I'd done beforehand was maybe 4 miles. I had fitness from running hundreds of miles this year, but running fitness does not equal cycling fitness. I used to say that the other way around when I was a cyclist and not a runner. Back to the 2023 edition of the Open Range Gravel Race 100K. I started out strong, drafting off other riders here and there, trying my best to keep up with a friend who'd come to town for the event. I did not hang with him or the others for long. After a mile or two, I stopped passing riders. They started passing me. It was a bit discouraging. It became a lot discouraging when I turned west into a strong headwind. More and more and more passes happened. Old men and young men. Women in packs and all alone. They all whizzed past me, and I did not, nor could I, react. I just kept my head down and kept on pedaling. 20 miles or so in, a thought started to form in my beleaguered mind. I'll quit at the halfway point. There was an aid station there, and the race director had said anyone who decided it was just not their day could get a ride back to town. As the brutal wind continued beating me up, I consoled myself with the thought of sitting in the cab of a pickup, headed back north. I would make it to mile 35 and stop. Before I got to the quitting spot, the route turned south. The wind was finally at my back. Boy, did that feel good. I was passed again, but I didn't care. I was rolling along with little effort, recovering. About 4 miles before the aid station where I could jump ship, I spotted a friend who had volunteered as a course monitor. I stopped briefly to talk with him, ate a fig bar or two, and put feet to pedals again. I had to make it to the aid station. When I came to said aid station and asked about a ride back to town, I was met with puzzled looks. I guess no one had ever been as weak-willed as me before. There was no designated rescuer of cyclists. The offer was more of a formality. Reality was, if someone was headed that way, you might be able to hitch a ride. I got off my bike, ate a few bites, talked with a friend who'd rolled up, and changed clothes. I started feeling a little better. I refilled my bottles, still undecided about what to do next. Finally, I chose what I thought was the dumbest option. I'd continue. Tony, a newfound friend, agreed to ride with me. Leaving the aid station was mildly terrifying. The wind was at our backs for the first 2 or 3 miles, and then, as expected, it was mile after mile after mile after mile after mile into the wind. Thankfully, the breeze wasn't as bad as it had been going west, and I had someone to talk with. We leapfrogged a couple of guys most of the way. They eventually left us in the dust about 7 miles from the finish. I did not care. I was going to make it. Rolling down 3rd Street, I could see the inflatable arch that marked the end of my suffering. My legs pushed the pedals 100, 200, 300 times more. I crossed the line. Relief. A couple of kids I coach at cross country ran to greet me, a bottle of chocolate milk in hand. A short time later, I picked up my finisher's awards and headed for home. I could hardly move, but I made it. I looked at the results later in the day. I was the penultimate finisher of the 100K. Only one other person came in after me. The very next day in Sunday school, the teacher had us turn to 1 Corinthians 9, 24-25. What do these verses say? Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. I thought of the race I'd ridden in the day before and pondered the many running events I'd taken part in. I piped up with these thoughts. Paul's words sound so individualistic, like we've got to do this thing all on our own, but having raced more than once, I know there are tons of people helping athletes finish well. People monitoring the course, people handing out pickle juice, people cleaning up trash, people offering encouragement along the way. Yes, each competitor has to complete the course, but they do so with help. In our life with Jesus, we do so with the help of the Holy Spirit and with the help of fellow believers. We get to the finish line with our faith intact because we've been helped along the way. I'm not sure I'll give bike racing another shot. My legs were unhappy with me for the rest of the day and most of the next. It hurt every time I had to get up from the couch or go up or down stairs. Even one step produced unpleasantness. But I'd finished, and I had a pint glass with the race logo on it to drink my post-race orange juice from. A few days later, I broke out the finisher's shirt and wandered around town. Maybe next time I could train a bit. Wait, did I say next time? Oh no, it's sad I know we've come to the end of the show. See you next time.